As we said, and the US veterinary authorities have signed a health protocol agreement. Now, it allows for the import of US bone-in chicken portions. Well, the move reportedly overcomes one of the major obstacles to the continued access of South Africa's agricultural products into the US market. It deals with how to allow US chicken exports into South Africa in the event of an avian flu outbreak in the US, and that's without harming South African flocks. Well, on the line, some reaction now. We've got Kevin Lovell. He's the CEO of the South African Poultry Association. Kevin, good afternoon. So first of all, does this agreement now alleviate the health concerns you think around imported US meat and poultry? Are you satisfied?
Well, we can't say yes or no quite yet. What we can say is that allowing the process of regionalisation to take place adds additional risks for the health of our national poultry flock. If these risks are very well managed, well, then it might be acceptable. If they're not well managed, well, then clearly it's unacceptable. And only time will tell whether this is a decent solution to a problem. We prefer an alternate method called compartmentalization, which is much more secure, but the Americans have limited interest in that because it's much harder to do.
Yeah, well, that's the health part of things, but let's talk about quotas now and quotas on those imports. How is it envisaged to fall in line with the South African poultry production? I mean, is there resolve there as far as that is concerned?
As an industry, we led this process. We actually offered, before we were asked by DTI, to see how we could help to get AGOA renewed. Now, AGOA has been renewed. President Obama has announced that the agricultural benefits that South Africa enjoys will be suspended from the 1st of January if we don't make him happy as a country, that is, with certain things. And certain things are issues around poultry, beef, and pork. Pork and poultry, there's phytosanitary issues, and then poultry, there's also making sure that the quota is in place. And those are all still happening. But there's no agreement on the quota quite yet because the Americans are not signing. And hopefully that will be resolved soon. The avian influenza protocol signed on Friday will allow them to continue trading while they have avian influenza, which they do. But there's still a salmonella issue to do.
You suggest that pen on paper is very important at this juncture, Kevin?
I would think it's absolutely essential because what we agreed with our US counterparts, this is an industry-to-industry agreement, not government-to-government, is that in return for us giving them a 65,000 quota, they would in turn be assisting us to open up their market for our export. I'm afraid that they're now not prepared to sign to that. They're also not prepared to sign to another key condition for us, which is that we will only make this concession if the rest of South Africa doesn't suffer, which is exactly what President Obama has now announced, that our agricultural exporters will suffer. So it seems pointless for us to suffer as well as citrus, macadamia nuts, wine, etc.
All right. Kevin Lovell there from the South African Poultry Association. Thanks very much indeed for talking to us.